Wonder what that is for my front seat. Could it be?
There it is, the golden ticket. Just came in the mail. And we will be there with 2 of those. Stay tuned as we get the body mounted on the Blazer. Try to get this thing wrapped up.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the studio. Appreciate everybody watching the old spray can custom paint job. And yeah, I got computers about to give up the ghost. Been playing with the Cricut a little bit. Hadn't mastered it yet, so hopefully we'll figure that out soon. But tonight we're going to try to get the body mounted on the next Lowrider build, the Jammin Jimmy. I'm going to try to use some of the parts that came with the car. It came with a little bag of miscellaneous body posts, and I think I can utilize this plate. It came with some mounts for magnets and some super long body posts. I think we're going to keep it simple, though. I think we're going to probably do Velcro just like we did on mine. And I'm going to utilize this plate as a mounting point. So haven't mocked anything up yet, so let's see if we can figure this out. All right, if you bought one of these Lowriders, it comes with this bag of accessories. The battery charge leads in there, these magnet mounts, some extra body clips if you wanted to clip a body on, or I guess you could adjust the height of these mounts right here go on this like a swivel. And then you mount that on a post, and then you got a swivel, you put a magnet on. But what we're going to try to do, we got to mount this Blazer body or Jimmy body. The problem is we took the gas tank off to make for clearance. You got 2 holes back here that the gas tank was originally bolted to. I thought maybe we'd just put some posts up there and put a plate on it. But the problem is this body's got a slope to the front. And with that being sloped to the front, our body post was going to end up in the back window. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to utilize the inside holes of the rear servos. I'm going to drill it out just like one size over, just so the screw will travel through it and not really be threaded into it. And just going to use some longer 3mm screws, run them all the way through, and then run a post through that screw, and then mount this on the post. That's what I'm thinking anyways. So yeah, let's get into it and see if this works. All right, we're just going to go one size over because this screw goes all the way through. This hole goes all the way through and comes out on the inside of the 4-link bars. We're not ruining anything by drilling this hole out bigger. If for some reason we didn't want to do it this way, we could just put a screw and a nut on it because it's just screwing into plastic and tightening down the servo. Be careful not to hit those leads right there. That's your rear servo leads. And now, these posts are really stiff, so I think these are going to work out good. The only thing is we're going to have to cut that little nub off. And we're going to use the shorter ones. Yeah, these are the shorter ones. You got long, super duper long, and then short. And I believe the short ones are probably for the front. So I'm going to cut this little nib off here. That way it'll sit flat. And then we'll screw this down, and then we'll figure out the height of the roof. And we'll cut this down enough to where it's adjustable. So we could possibly use these things right here, because these go over that. And then we'll have some adjustability. And maybe we will use magnets, because I don't think that's enough Velcro to hold it in place on even on 2 spots. It might work, but either way, let's get to cutting. All right, we knocked those little nibs off with the old Dremel and cutoff wheel. We've oversized our hole in the bottom, and shouldn't be too hard to run this screw. There you go, slides right through. Yep, we're good. All right, now we got our extra tall body post installed. These will sit here. And then these would sit on here. So we're super tall. This is not going to be the most exciting video, guys. This is my live action. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. We're just winging it as usual. I'm going to go ahead and put these. We are super duper high on the body. So we need to cut about 2 inches at least off of the bottom of that post. So let's get to chopping. All right, guys, we're going to start with 1 inch because you can't put it back. You can always cut more off. I'd rather it be just a little bit tall or actually a little bit low so we could adjust it up. So well, I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch off. Like I said, I'm going to kind of sneak up on it. We'll probably end up with 2 inches because we will have about 1 inch of adjustability right here. So let's cut another 1/2 inch off just to creep up on it. Let me get my Sharpie on silver. So we're going to go another 1/2 inch. All right, we've cut another 1/2 inch off. Again, we're just kind of creeping up on it. Shorter these posts get, the stiffer they get because they're not as flexible, which is a good thing. We're going to run it all the way down. And if it's not touching with the body on the ground, so I'm going to cut this body just below the cut line to get it to lay out with these big wheels. All right, well, we're laid out right there. But you also have to factor in the thickness of a magnet or Velcro. So we're going to just take off about, there's several holes. There's holes all the way up this thing. So we're going to take off 1/4 inch. So we're 1/4 inch below, and then we can adjust up with this sleeve. So we'll take another 1/4 inch off, which is approximately, it's going to be about 3 holes we're going to take off. That's easy enough to do the math. All right, now we've taken another 1/4 inch off. With that being said, this shouldn't even touch the body post, and it's not. So we can go up 1 hole on the post on that sleeve, and because right there is laid out and we're not quite touching, we need about half that distance to make up the difference for the Velcro or the magnet, whatever we end up using. So we're going to go up. Let's see. We're actually lined up with every hole, so we're going to go up this 1 row. See what that gives us. All the way. 1 hole. Get these flipped down. So now I'm about 1/8 inch from touching the roof. You can't really see that, but 1/8 inch from touching the roof, and I figure that's about the thickness of a magnet and or both sides of the Velcro. You got to figure in the thickness of that, and I think we're good to go on that. Now, one thing, the downside of mounting the body like this is we have pretty much eliminated our possibility of running an interior, but we're not committed to this because with it being Velcroed on, we can always remove these and do an alternative mounting. If we did an interior, I would have to mount the body to the interior. And so basically what I'm saying is we're not drilling holes in the body. If we were drilling holes, we would be more committed to it. In the future, if we get that creative, because he had mentioned maybe putting a sliding rag top in this, and if we do, we'll have to build some sort of floorboard out of styrene or even lake sand, and mount the body to the interior, and then just mount the interior to the chassis. So that's a lot more involved than we have time to do right now. I should have started this a long time ago. I'd still like to put an interior in my truck. I even had intentions of putting the engine bay in my truck, putting RC 4-wheel drive 22 RE in there, but time is not allowing for all the cool stuff, so that'll be in future builds. I did order 2 more bodies, not this one because you cannot find them. I did get an S10 body and a square body Ranger, and I do want to build another one. And if we have more time, we'll get more detail oriented and build an interior. I haven't built an interior since I built my Sand Scorcher about, I don't know, it's probably about 6 or 8 years, and I did a full interior with a driver and everything in it. Before I really started pushing the YouTubes, there is a running video of that car. It's the green bug. It's only like 15 seconds, but there is a Sand Scorcher on the beach video on my channel. And it's from way back. And that car got shared by Knights Customs because they had a Knights Customs engine. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and I hated I sold it, but I always have to sell something to build something, so I must have had something in mind back then. I don't even remember what I used that money for. But anyways, there's our rear. The front, I'm going to do just like I did ours, but I may utilize this piece somehow. If I can get that mounted between. I just need a flat surface to put body post on. The other option would be to do these as well and put them right there and just have it sit on the hood. We might go that route because that might be a little cleaner look and might be a little more durable. So, not that mine's not durable, but mine's just a plate mounted on the servos, directly on the servos. Yeah, I might do this. So, let me figure something out here. All right, I might have been overthinking when I did mine, and I chopped all this part of the frame off. Well, it's actually a front bulkhead. I believe I could just buy that piece and replace it if I needed to. But we're going to utilize, well, I cut all this off of mine. We're going to utilize this right here. We got the super talls on there. That's way too much. The only thing, I wish it would have come with more of these. It only come with 2 of the multiple adjustment holes. This one only has 1. So we got to hit it pretty close on the first shot. And it just needs to be just above the servo. Worst case scenario, we could put shims under it. So let me eyeball this and see if we can figure something out. The mounting plate needs just to be just above the servo wires because the hood sits almost on those wires. So as long as this plate here is slightly below the wire, because you got to factor in the thickness of a magnet or Velcro, and we should be good. All right, first cut. We went a little deep. We cut it off just like 1 hole above the top of the servo. And of course, I didn't look at the instructions, but it does come with little screws to put in here instead of body pins. And you can actually snug these up a little bit so they don't flop around so much. And then you drop it in the floor. All right, if you're following along at home, we have now chopped off. We actually went back and cut it a few more times. Because again, having to factor for the pad, the height of the pad, and then the height of, or the thickness of Velcro and or magnets. We don't have magnets to judge by, and I'm just using my best guess at the thickness of the Velcro. If we're a little bit high, that's fine. I'd rather be just a slightly bit higher, and we can always go back and trim just a little bit if we need to. And there's so many holes in these body posts. See all them tiny holes? That's like infinite adjustment right there as far as where the pad mounts, because the pin goes through this and holds the pad on there. And right now we are about, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 of an inch from touching the pads on the hood, and about the same in the rear on the roof, and the body's laid out. But the body's laid out below the cut line, and we're going to have to leave it that way because if we go any lower, the tires are almost touching the hood now. If we were using standard touring car tires, this thing would be underground. It'd be so low. But we are using the 26s, and with the 26s, we're going to utilize the material on the body because it's still pretty nice. There's no funky wrinkles or anything in the mold. So it does have a really clean line around the bottom. So we're going to cut it right where it folds, because the actual cut line is another 1/4 inch above it. And so we're going to cheat the body a little bit so we can lay it out. And yeah. So now we just have, I can't put the Velcro on it or anything because we need to put that on after it's painted. What I can do is put a piece of masking tape in there, stick the Velcro on the masking tape. That way I can do a dummy mock-up and get the body cut and get it fitted. So I think that's the route we're going to do, because once the body's all painted like we did on mine, once mine was completely cured out, I did go back and put aluminum tape on the body where the Velcro was going to be attached, just to not scratch up the paint from the inside out. And that would mimic pretty much what we're going to do. So let's grab some masking tape, and we'll stick some Velcro on there and make sure we're still good. If we are, we're going to go forward with cutting it out. If we're not, we're going to go forward with cutting some more of this body post off. But so far, this is a really clean setup. I wish I would have done that more so on mine, because it looks factory. And I think I don't know if Redcat sells magnets or not, but I'm sure Amazon or anything like that sells these body mount magnets for like touring cars. We may go that route, but for now I got 50 feet of Velcro, so we're going to Velcro it on. And yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome. All right, I went ahead and trimmed up the body. I trimmed up the rear quarters a little bit lower than the cut line, and we went just at the 45 here at the bottom where the lip was at. And she's going to look good. All right, we're back. I know I shouldn't say that because it's only been about a split second for y'all, but it's the next day. It's Tuesday night, and we're working on Wednesday video. So what we've done, I've got this Velcro. My brother works at a aviation interior place, and I've had this stuff for years. It's really strong. Hopefully it's sticking good to these little pedestals. We're going to put a piece of masking tape, put the Velcro on here, and see if we can get the body mocked up. I did manage to get the magnets out of the Monte Carlo body, and I'm not sure. I've never cut a magnet in half, but I thought about cutting it and doing sections of the magnet instead of Velcro. But the benefits of using Velcro is it's a lot more adjustable. When you set it on there, you can kind of maneuver it around and set it where you want it. Not as quite as solid. The Monte Carlo body fit to the chassis, and with it fitted, as far as lining it up was a no-brainer. It fit where it fit. This body here being wider, it's nowhere near the chassis sides. It's nowhere near the front and rear. You'd have to have these things dead on to get it to line up. And these magnets are crazy. Ow, they will pinch you. So they would have to be right in the right position. And not that we couldn't get it that way, because I'd have to mount the magnet on the post. I'd have to cut it in half, number one, see if it even worked that way. And then I'd have to put a piece of metal that comes in the bumpers. It's just a little strip of sheet metal. And we'll have to adhere that to the body after it's painted. And I think the risk of that is not worth doing it. So we're going to stick with Velcro for now. We'll hang on to these for a future issue. We may try that. If I had a way, which I could just make a side mount and maybe even magnet on the doors. And that way it just go boop and it's on the car. And you should be able to scoot it back and forth at that point if you needed to. So that's an option as well. But at least for now, this is the easiest way out. We're actually trying to get these done a little bit sooner than Mini Nats. We have a show coming up on March 30th at Turn and Burn Speedway at their parking lot. And it's going to be a truck show, car show, everything show. And it's going to be a benefit show. So we're going to try to get these done for that. At least have them out there, because that's like just a few weeks before Mini Nats. So anyway, I just kind of made a generic mark on the roof on the hood where the Velcro is going to be. I think 4 little pads of Velcro should be enough. But since we're painting the body and we need to get it painted and dried, And then I'll put aluminum tape in the roof and the hood once it's completely dry to put the Velcro on. We're just going to mock it up for now so I can cut the wheel wells. So we're going to sacrifice a little bit of Velcro and just tape it and actually stick it onto the tape. And that way we can maneuver this body around and get it to where it needs to be, and then we can mark our wheel wells. It's pretty close to already lined up for the most part. But I may cut them a little bit smaller than the actual wheel well on the cut of the body, on the body lines. There's not a real distinct cut line here, so we may go just a little bit under that fender flare. So we want to have options. Like I said, you can always cut it bigger. You can't cut it smaller. Once you don't gone too far, there's no more adding Lexan back. All right, let me go grab another piece of Velcro because I cut myself short. I got about 50 foot of this stuff, so let me go grab a little piece of that, and then we'll set it on there, and we'll mark out our wheel wells. All right, we just did a little roughed in. Don't have to be exact right now. We're just trying to get it mounted, and this is going to tell us whether or not we need to shorten our body post too. So the front is maxed out. The rear has some adjustability, so I'll have to cut the fronts if we got to change anything. I think we are good because there you go. It ain't scooting around too much. That one's missing a little bit. Oh yeah. Now we're going to have to scooch it back just a hair to get our wheel wells lined up. We're looking too far forward. And see what I mean by ease of adjustability? You can just scooch it back wherever you need it. And then pretty much makes it a no-brainer on mounting. You don't have to get it precise. I may do something else in the front to give it a little bit more. Well, I'm actually missing half of the pad, so I'm not even touching it right there. We could actually come forward just a hair to make the set up the difference there. Oh, happy compromise. There we go. That feels a little more secure right there. If that's not enough surface area, what I can do, I can just put a piece of Lexan between these two pads and make a solid surface, or even a piece of carbon fiber or something. I got scrap stuff that I can add to it to give it a little more surface. Yeah, the rear is the only thing that's a little bit floppy because it's so tall. So we may come back with just a little leg off of the chassis right here, just to tie the rockers in too, because it's going to it may tend to get a little floppy. And not like we're going fast with this thing. We're just kind of cruising with it, so it might be okay either way. That's something that needs to be added after the fact. That's not keeping me from painting anything. Because that'd just be simply as just putting a little angle piece right here, and even just Lexan, and putting Velcro on the chassis. And if I get the equal, if I can get just a little piece of angle right there, or a U-channel would be awesome. Put right there and put the Velcro on it. The body would fit flawless every time. So I like the way that looks right there. and it feels really good in the front. It's just the rear is so tall. It's a big body. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. There we go. That ain't going nowhere. All right, let me hop off here, and I'm gonna trim up these wheel wells. Like I said, we're gonna go just there's no cut line, so I'm just gonna go about maybe a 16th or so, maybe a little bit more, just inside that lip, and so we'll have just a sharp edge. We'll have a little bit of a flat lip, and we'll come back and look at this thing with the wheels cut out. All right, I'm back. A little bit dusty. I had to break out the old Dremel tool, smooth up some of my cuts on the wheel wells. We went ahead and threw the center caps on. They look really cool, and them things are pressed in. Hope I don't have to take the wheels back off. There is a little hole right here, access that you can stick a hook or a small, probably an Allen wrench or something. But be really careful because those things do fit snug, and they're just pressed to fit. But they look really cool once they're installed. And we shouldn't have to take them back off now because the car is mocked up with those wheels. We wanted to mock it up and make sure the wheels were going to work, obviously. And just in case we had to go plan B and get some touring car wheels. So we are going with those wheels. They're on there. Got the wheel wells cut out. Like I said, I'm leaving a little bit of lip. No secret here. These are bitty scissors. I like these. They seem to be the best ones that I found in the market right now. I've used all of them over the years, and they're all very similar in design, but these work really good. I got just a little bit off on my front one when I was cutting it, so we took the Dremel with a sanding drum, and I cleaned that up, so made a little Lexan dust. So anyway, let's set it on here and get a final fit before we commit to putting some paint on this thing. There we are, and we are tucking half a wheel. I can't wait to see this thing painted, because it's going to look so cool with the wheel tucked up in there, especially with the body on the ground. We've got maybe a 1/16 of an inch, so it will roll laid out, but it's going to be really close to rubbing. Like I say, we're about a 1/16 of an inch from laying the ground. I cut the body below. There's the factory cut line there, and I went below it. This side actually needs to be trimmed a little bit more because it's on the ground. On the ground's not a bad thing, but I want both sides to match, and you can still see a little bit of the mold from the when it was vacuumed. So we're going to cut that where it's flat so it'll match the other side. We're literally like the thickness of maybe that blade thickness from the ground. If you put the 1.9 touring car wheels on it, it would be underground. It could sit on blocks and still be laid out. So I think it's going to be really cool for 26s. Can't wait to see some paint on this thing, just like y'all are, but no paint in this video. This is, like I said, it's Tuesday night, and this is Wednesday video. Next episode of the Mini Truck Lowrider Build 2.0 will be paint and installing the drag block, and we're going to put underglow under both trucks. I got mine. I have to install it. He has his. I don't have it in my hand yet, but his drag block and underglow has come in. So we'll get that drag block mounted, and we'll have to mount his pretty low to not drag the back tailgate off this Blazer body. But it's not going to be a problem. We can just space it down. It's not a big deal. It screws on, super simple. I will post a link once we do have the drag block in hand. I have one on mine. I didn't do a link, I don't think. So I will post that when we install this one. So, and then we'll do a running video, finally. I've been dragging this out too long. Just a lot going on, and like I say, I'm basically live video. We're like a day or two before posting them every week, every time we do one. So I appreciate all y'all coming back. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Yeah, we'll have this thing done before we know it, and we'll have it show ready. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.